How's it going, everybody? I'm the B2C Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading when the price is going up or down. Kiyosaki warns U.S. inflation is now systemic, says Fed chair was lying through his teeth. However, Kiyosaki has issued a warning about the state of inflation in the United States while criticizing authorities for not accurately presenting the situation. Kiyosaki has predicted a further spike in inflation based on how the United States handles the banking crisis after a collapse of three lenders in a matter of days. He alleges that the U.S. is likely to print more money to bail out the banks, transitioning into increased inflation. Indeed, President Joe Biden has assured that the bailout of the collapsed banks would not cost taxpayers any money, an aspect that Kiyosaki opposed. Biden says the bailout of SPV will not cost taxpayers anything. Was he smoking, he asked. He believed that the Federal Reserve, FDIC, and the FDIC were indicating hyperinflation by continuously printing fake money, referring to the dollar. In this line, he is advocating for investing in precious metals such as gold and silver, noting that they are the best alternative to fake money. Kiyosaki has maintained that Bitcoin is also a valuable asset to cushion against the projected economic collapse. And then we have a few more things about, there's a bet going on about this collapse actually. Coinbase's former CTO, Balaji Saravansan, I believe, sorry if I botched that, wagered on Friday that the price of Bitcoin will benefit from a rapid devaluating of the US dollar in the next 3 months, skyrocketing to 1 million by June 17th. He entered a bet with two individuals that same day, and said if Bitcoin falls to that notch, it would be historic gains and the two would receive $1 million in USDC each. Oh, if it fails. I thought it said if it falls, sorry. The bet is part of Saravin's view that the global economy is teetering on the edge of rapid change, which he dubbed hyper-Bitcoinization. He predicts the US dollar will enter a point of rapid hyperinflation and the global economy then denominates on Bitcoin as digital gold. I cannot speak tonight. In this scenario, the market capitalization of Bitcoin would increase to 19.3 trillion from about 549 billion today. His prediction comes amid a series of bank failures in the US that's injected fear and uncertainty into financial markets, so he's saying pretty much the same as Robert Kiyosaki. Bitcoin entrepreneur and educator Jimmy Song and venture capitalist Adam Cochran delved into how realistic this possibility would be. Referencing the performance of cryptocurrencies during the onset of the pandemic in 2020, he said that Bitcoin would be a catalyst more extreme than that would need a catalyst more extreme to outdo the 547% rally we saw from 2020 to 2022. He positioned that the collapse of the United States and Europe's banking systems would ultimately overshadow the potential value of Bitcoin as an asset, making bunkers or beans better use of money. He says, simply put, stores of value or alternative assets do well when we doubt the profitability of an economic system, not the existence of a system. If the system doesn't exist, we shift down the hierarchy of needs, placing value on necessary goods, not valuables. You see that in like all the post-apocalyptic shows. Other voices such as Song appeared supportive ideas, expressed his bet, claiming Bitcoin could have some utility during an existential crisis for the financial system as it's known today. Bitcoin will play a crucial role in mitigating some of the catastrophic events, he said. As a strictly limited currency, Bitcoin offers much better store value, dampening the impact of hyperinflation. Matt Levine chimed in on Saturday to ask what could be considered a straightforward question. If he thinks Bitcoin will reach 1 million in 90 days, why would he use money to bet as just opposed to buying Bitcoin? So why is he not betting Bitcoin since $1 million would be worth like nothing in 90 days? It'd be worth about 20 grand. So, good question. So, don't know where there's a tie. Crypto and drugs, why this ex-Belgian finance minister is on some. Crypto should be banned the same way that government bans drugs, John van Oldervelt, a member of the European Parliament and former Minister of Finance of Belgium, said in a tweet. European Parliament gears up for a crucial vote on revolutionary digital asset licensing regulations for the European Union. Van Oldenburg, who serves as an economic representative for a coalition of 64 EU legislators, expressed his views. He says if a government bans drugs, they should also ban crypto. Probably mad that they banned his crack pipe. The EU is still in the process of implementing a comprehensive regulatory framework for its digital currency industry. And Charles had some opinions, but I'm not going to get into that because I'm just not going to. I don't know why chart disappeared. I have nothing against Charles. He's a great leader for Cardano, and Cardano is a great project. It's actually one on my list somewhere on here. If not, I should have it because I should be watching it eventually. But stochastic's pretty overbought, RSI's heading up, momentum wave's heading up, money flow's coming up, bar VWAP's coming down, so our medium term is dropping even though money is coming into Bitcoin. We did get pretty much right exactly to that resistance level at the top of our channel, and we'll get into that on the lower time frames. It'll be a little easier to see. On the 4-hour, you see we have another bearish divergence sign on momentum, so that could bring us down as it did before. RSI is heading down, stochastic's kind of curling here after breaking this neutral area, so our RSI could lose some strength. Money flow is coming in really strong on the 4-hour, but this move could be over as we're well into the green. VWAP is starting to head back down. We are getting a descending, kind of hard to read. There we go. Long lower shadow candle. That's the words I'm looking for. Jeez. We're getting a long lower shadow candle that bounced off our bear flag for a retest on the 4-hour. We are setting up some new volume here. So because of setting up new volume, if we manage to set more bullish volume than bearish volume, there's potential we move up. If we set in more bearish volume and see more red candles start to form here, then it's likely we'll start to head back down and all these indicators will start to actually mean something. Usually in a bull market, bearish signals are going to flash and they don't mean quite as much. Just like in a bear market, you were seeing green signals and they didn't always mean you were going to get a big move. So you kind of have to shift your mindset depending on the market structure. Momentum is starting to kind of curl, stochastic's starting to curl, RSI's heading down somewhat. 2-hour, we're getting a green candle here, setting up some support here with our bullish momentum, but we have a lot of resistance up in this area. So we have that resistance to overcome. Momentum's starting to curl, stochastic has a bearish cross, RSI is pointing up for now. Money flow is kind of flat, and our VWAP's about to break that neutral zone, so watch out for that as that could start to drag us lower. The 1-hour, we are getting a decent bounce off of that support for our bear flag, or our bull flag, sorry. So that is a good support level for locally right now, so we will leave that portion of the flag. But we do have this ascending channel that we are still trading inside. We have touched it 3 times now, basically. So it's likely we could see this drag us lower, and we could fill that lower CME gap. Kind of counter to what that one guy thinks. But, you know, not everyone's right on all their bets. So, over on the daily for graph, we are holding above our support. It has finally been support. Get rid of that random line. We're kind of making a flag here. If we keep going sideways, we'll make a bull flag, and that could play out similar to Bitcoin, but that's going to be providing Bitcoin keeps its run up. Our money flow is coming up. Stochastic's slightly coming down. Momentum's kind of starting to curl out. Stochastic's starting to curl, but our RSI is heading up. Stochastic has some strength, so the RSI could keep moving up. Flipping wire. RSI is heading down, our stochastic's heading down, and our momentum's heading down, as well as our VWAP. Our money flow is coming up, so money flow is coming in on the 4-hour, and we do have a somewhat rising channel. but as we know, rising channels are a descending pattern, so we could test support again, so I'd watch out for that. Over on the 2 hour, if we look, we are kind of getting a bit of a topping pattern here as we got a big green candle, a doji or a hammer candle, inverted hammer candle, and then a long red candle. So we could fall kind of like how this did. We kind of flagged, that's a bear flag. We are still inside that bear flag, so on this 2 hour, we have a very small local bear flag that could possibly take us around that support level, just like I just warned about. Money flow is trying to come out, stochastic's heading down, RSI is trying to go up even though we're losing strength on it, and our medium term is coming down with that VWAP, as well as that red dot that did confirm on our momentum wave with that last candle. The 1 hour stochastic's real beat down, money flow's about to cross bearish. Looks like we tried to cross bearish, we're trying to make a bounce. So watch if we can make a solid bounce off here. If we can, that may be able to save us. But overall, this is the 3rd time we're doing that, and money flow is still continuing a downward trajectory. So that is a bit concerning. VWAP is trying to come up, so medium term on the 1 hour, we're trying to come up, but our momentum's coming down. And with that stochastic losing and money flow teetering, I'd be a little leery. So over on Anchor, on the daily, we did come into our support and we bounced off it, but we're making a long lower shadow candle, so that is a bullish candle as it shows that sellers tried to take us down to our point of control and we bounced off it. We did try to break our value area high for this local area, but we didn't manage to do that. This is a bull flag if you have not noticed, so that could take us up and we could possibly trade in the next resistance area. But that's again going to be contingent on Bitcoin. Momentum's kind of rounding, stochastic's kind of rounding, RSI is kind of flat, money flow's pretty flat as well. So money flow, we'll want to see that start to come in as we flag here, and momentum start to gain some strength. The stochastic I'm not too worried about with where it's at because it's still in a strong bullish territory. 4 hour, we are making bounce in the curl for our stochastic, where our RSI has a downward trajectory, so that's a little cautionary. We'll need this stochastic to pick up before we get near that neutral zone. VWAP's kind of flattening out, but the money flow is coming up, so that is a positive. We did get a green dot in the curl on our momentum, but it looks like we might try to curl back under, so be cautionary. But with this being a bear flag, or a bull flag, sorry. Ooh, that bull flag looks a little better here. Could take us like all the way to this high value area, so Bitcoin would have to really run up for that to happen. So I'm not really seeing any patterns on Bitcoin that would make it do that, so I wouldn't bet too much on that move. But if you do, just use proper risk management so you don't get completely wrecked. Over on the 2 hour, not financial advice by the way, just seek financial advisor if you want exact trading advice or financial advice on what you should do. I'm just giving my opinion on what I'm seeing. Our stochastic is heading down, RSI is trying to head up, money flow did make a bounce and is trying to head up, and our VWAP is kind of coming out, so I'd be cautionary with that stochastic cross and that VWAP coming out. Momentum's trying to kind of curl away, so that's a little concerning as well, as you'd want to see more of a strong move up. Over on the 1 hour, our money flow is getting really tight and really weak against that neutral zone, so 1 hour is not looking overall good, but we are trying to put a green dot on our momentum. Our stochastic's trying to make a recovery, and our RSI is trying to make a recovery as well as our VWAP. So if we get some momentum here, we could actually get that breakout and then maybe a snap. So maybe Bitcoin would hit like 30 coin. Maybe we hit this 30k, bounce real aggressively out of this, then come back in this pattern, and then we could possibly see that pattern play out at a later point. We'll have to kind of see. Over Over on XRP, we did break our support, so we are bending away from this head and shoulders just in time. However, if we manage to get a big crash down, then I'd be a little cautionary. We do have another descending channel that we're basically inside of. Kinda hard to get it nice and even, I just almost had it. But we have this descending channel. So we are still overall that would be an overall bullish pattern because it could break us up. Money flow's trying to break bullish, momentum's crossing up, RSI and stochastic are heading up, so we have a good potential for a move brewing. 4 hours flagging, stochastic and RSI have some bearish signals popping, but that's to be expected with a run up. Momentum's continuing a good solid move up, but our VWAP is starting to curl, so with these bearish signs flashing, money flow might come out here. That would be a little cautionary. 2 hour money flows well into the green. VWAP's trying to get recovery. We have a bearish divergence on stochastic and RSI that is playing out, or kind of played out. Stochastic brought us. Yeah, stochastic, that one brought us down, but the RSI hasn't really played out. But you'll sometimes get these with these moves up. So I wouldn't be too worried, but I would also watch for caution. You might want to have a stop loss if you're watching for any profits if you're in. Over on algo, last but not least, we're still continuing this bounce, kind of flagging around here as well. Not really that big of a flag, so might take us to that point of control finally. Money flow's trying to come in, VWAP's rounding off though. Momentum's coming up pretty strong, stochastic's got some strength and it's moving, and our RSI is moving as well, so we have some potential for some move up. Money flow's coming up on the 4 hour, our VWAP's kind of curling off, flattening out, so I'd be a little cautionary with that. Stochastic's trying to make a bounce, and our RSI's got a slight trajectory up. We did have a red X that didn't really take us anywhere yet, so that is a positive sign. We could invalidate that and then continue moving up. Over on the 2 hour, momentum's coming up pretty good, money flow's pretty decent. Our VWAP wants to kind of break bearish though, so watch out for that. Stochastic looks like we could get a bearish cross, and maybe we just teetered down and then come back up, get a little bit of a cool off. RSI is heading up pretty decently, so we're looking alright, but I'd be a little cautionary with that stochastic and VWAP, as well as with Bitcoin with how it's looking. Momentum's got a green dot on the 1 hour, so we are trying to invalidate this move down on momentum. Stochastic's trying to get a bounce, and same with our RSI, so the 1 hour is looking pretty decent for a bounce, but this money flow, you can see it's well into the green. So we've been in the green for quite some time and haven't managed to really break down ever since we broke down over here, which was like a week ago. So we've maintained this for the last week. The futures, we'll take a look at this. So the futures, we did gap up when we filled this, so it's likely we could gap down. We did pretty much hit like exactly where I had my mark, but with this gap up, it's likely we could start to drop down. We have bearish divergence on momentum, stochastic's heading down, so we could fill this gap, and at which point would start the downward trajectory needed to fill the lower gap. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.